I'm standing now with Gael Duez, who is the founder of Green.io. Gael, how's the day been?
It was a very, very productive day. We had a lot of people, a lot of volunteers, sponsors are happy. And I think many people came back to me and say, "Oh, I found my tribe," which I think is the best possible compliment for the conference, techie conference, I would say.
That's very good. And I'm very excited about that because there's actually been a lot of very interesting chat within the conference room, but also outside here on the conference floor, the festival floor. What gave you the inspiration to start off with for Green.io? Where did you see the gap in the market?
Actually, I didn't do any market analysis. I just followed my personal journey, my professional journey, when I decided to quit my previous CTO position and focus full time on environmental issues. I started to investigate the topic of the environmental footprint of IT, and I was learning quite a lot. And I was like, maybe I should share what I'm learning. So I'm not a very good writer, but I will try, as good as you are, to be a good interviewer. And I've always been a generalist in IT. I can speak with people in AI, in cloud, etc. I will never be the expert in the room, but I speak all the language. I will not write a book in any of these languages, but I speak all the languages because of my previous position. So I love to jump from one topic to another. And I say, why not a podcast? And I was expecting a few dozens people to listen to it. And, like this crazy French guy interviewing people about reducing the carbon footprint of IT. And eventually the podcast became quite popular. It's a very niche podcast. We're not talking about mainstream BBC podcast, obviously. And yeah, a community, I don't really like the word. It's for sake of a better one, like a group of people gathering around the podcast as a mean of sharing information happened to exist. And 2 years ago, I was already working a bit with the API Days conference, a massive conference dedicated to API. And been working with them on some track to focus a bit more on sustainability. And we made a deal we need to have a dedicated conference on Green IT. And all Green.io conferences were launched almost 2 years ago now, in December.
And so, okay, as a journalist, as someone who has a good experience of listening to people in with particular fields, how did you feel the conference section went? Well, the speakers, obviously you organised the speakers, so you know who was going to be there. But were there any surprises for you? Or did you actually learn more than you expected?
Well, I'm going to cheat a bit because I learned, but not during the conference, because I review the talks and the slides before. So it's all during the conference. Obviously, I learn every day when I'm preparing a conference. I think what is interesting is that the progress is happening, not necessarily where you would believe it happens. We hear a lot like, government is slow, government, they're not efficient, government, blah, blah, blah. The truth is public servants in the UK has done a remarkable job to become one of the leading countries worldwide when it comes to green IT. They've been very pragmatic, they achieved amazing results. They actually saved millions, if not dozens of millions to for every UK citizens because they became more efficient in decarbonizing. And usually when you do green ops, you do FinOps at the end. So I was very impressed. I knew they were good, but I was very impressed about how they were and how far they are already in the IT journey. And to say, in the green IT journey, what struck me also is how modest or humble they remain regarding the main challenges. I think that they could brag a bit.
Well, they should definitely brag a bit about the nodes. I don't know if you saw, but the node demo they show of how the NHS can be affected, all the different aspects of the NHS can be affected by just a heat wave or flooding. It was absolutely a fascinating piece of kit, that.
It is. But I think I've been trained in Prince 2 principles of project management. I think it's more like a decade ago, maybe 2 decades ago. And people in project management might know that basically Prince 2 was used for the UK Olympic Games, which were almost the only Olympic Games, as far as I know, with Paris, that stayed within a reasonable budget provision. And I think these methods highlighted a very strong, let's say, UK mindset, a British mindset, sorry, that risk should be managed, and it should be managed in a very pragmatic way. And this is what, very fortunately for the UK people, the people based in UK, like pretty much all over the world, the same things are getting applied to climate risk by many people around the world. And I think the job done by the British civil servants is really good. Like say, okay, this is real. This is real. So we need really to map all this risk, and we need to pay attention to them. Or don't get me wrong, and pardon my French, but shit will happen because this is a very shitty environment that we're getting into. But having people already preparing for it, it's great. Now, I hope, I have no clue about it, so it's a very neutral statement, and I hope that the government, either this one and the next one, will keep on providing them the means and the resources, even if sometimes it sounds a bit like in the distant future, and it might not be politically wise to invest money for something that you cannot, I don't know, inaugurate or whatever. But the truth is, like, when there's flood will happen, when there's heat wave will happen, especially in England, which is not used to get struck by heat wave, we will be very, very happy, all of us, including the Europeans, because we're so dependent of each other, despite this Brexit thing, etc. We are still very connected. To have like governments all around Europe who has planned things, who are resilient, etc. So that was really one of my highlights of the day, how things are getting done, even if it's a bit flying under the radar by some civil servants.
Well, it's great that you're giving them an opportunity to brag about it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
They will not, because they're under strict PR rules, so I'm sort of being their voices, even if I will not name any department or people, but I'm just saying, like, as a regular European citizen, that I found that they've done a good job, and I was very happy that they share it with hundreds of other responsible technologists today, because that brings inspiration. And when someone in a, I would say, a middle-sized business or even a corporation goes back in the office and say, hey boss, you know, we need to do something about IT, green IT, resilience. Ah, come on, okay. Who did you hear that from? Greenpeace, Extinction Rebellion? No, the government, HSBC, or, you know, like other big players. Suddenly, what you bring back to the office is very, very credible, and you can kickstart change and have like concrete use cases to share with your colleagues.
That's fascinating. Well, Gael Duez, I'm really looking forward to next year's Green I.O. and congratulations on this year.
Thank you. You will be more than welcome, and any responsible technologist based in, honestly, the UK, because we had people from all over the country joining.